Hey everyone, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly, and I have today a brand new phone. This is the Samsung Exhibit 4G, which as you see runs on the T-Mobile network. Now the Samsung Exhibit 4G is considered to be, let's call it an affordable phone. This is a phone that's meant to sell at a reasonable price, and the price here on Wirefly is going to be pretty darn fantastic. So if you're interested in the Exhibit 4G, be sure you check Wirefly's price. Anyway, the Exhibit 4G is also a device that I think, from the look and feel of it, that it is targeted at the youth audience, and maybe you'll agree with me by the time we're done with this review. First of all, the Exhibit 4G is very small, slim, and lightweight. I mean, it's very small and slim. Here's how it compares to a credit card, and as you can see that the footprint of it here is not all that much bigger than a credit card. And by the way, if you want to rack some charges up on this, just be sure you tell them that your name is your name here. Now, the Exhibit 4G comes in a couple of different colors. There's this wine purplish color as well as black. So you can get it in a couple of different colors. And just to show you again the size of it, here's how it compares to the Apple iPhone, which is certainly kind of the benchmark for the industry in terms of size. Now the iPhone is slimmer than the Exhibit 4G, but the overall footprint of it is about the same. So it is about as big as the iPhone is, but of course the iPhone is a little slimmer. So let's go back to the main page here. There's 5 pages, 5 Android pages here. 5 screens, and this is running Android 2.3, so it's running the latest available version of Android. Of course, it's overlaid with Samsung's TouchWiz interface, and it comes preloaded with a lot of games, I think, that teens are going to enjoy, like Bejeweled and Scrabble and so forth, and Slacker Radio. I had the Slacker Radio demo going. So I'm going to take a look around the phone and show you its features and so forth, and then we'll dive into what it can do on benchmarks. On this side, of course, you've got the on-off switch. Up on top, the standard audio jack, and underneath this cover, it's got a micro USB port for charging and syncing the phone. On this side, it's got your volume up-down rocker. Underneath there, you can get your micro SD card out without taking the back cover off. That is always very nice. The Exhibit 4G comes with a 4 gigabyte micro SD card pre-installed, and there's no specific features down at the bottom. On this side here, you have the menu key, the back button, the search button, and this is the home button. Now, it kind of looks like it ought to be a trackpad or something too. It is not. It is simply a press-only button that brings up the home screen. So if you touch anything like your applications there, you just touch this and it recalls the home button. The display is a 3.5-inch diagonal LCD display with a resolution of 480 by 800. So although the display is relatively small, I was actually figuring this phone would have a much lower resolution display, but in fact it's 480 by 800, which makes for a very crisp, very clean looking image. So some of the other features, it's got a 1 gigahertz processor and 512 megabytes of RAM. It has a 1500 milliamp hour battery, and there is a camera with an LED flash. The camera is a 3.2 megapixel still image camera, and the video resolution is 480p. So let's call that DVD quality video. A couple of other things. The Samsung Exhibit 4G comes preloaded with Swipe. I've used the Swipe. It works very well. And it also comes with an Office package I think many other Android phones come with. It's called Think Free. And I was in there writing a document earlier, and it creates documents that are compatible with Word Office. So let's go ahead and run some of my favorite benchmark tests. I'm going to go ahead and run Quadrant, and we will pick it up once Quadrant is ready to complete, and we'll find out what the score is there. This is the last of the 3D graphics tests in Quadrant, and we're going to go ahead and call up the benchmarks. And this got a score of 980 on Quadrant. Now that's comparable with the Samsung Galaxy S phones that are running Android 2.3 and Android 2.2. So it's in the same ballpark as the Samsung Galaxy S phones. In fact, I have the feeling that the internal architecture of the Samsung Exhibit 4G is more or less identical as the Samsung Galaxy S phones. One other thing that I want to mention before I get off the subject of this, you can see here it's running Android 2.3.3, which is the latest version of that, and 1 gigahertz processor. It is 480 by 800, and it's running a refresh rate of 68 hertz. As you get over 60 hertz with the refresh rate, the display becomes smoother and more pleasing to the eye, especially when it's running motion video images. So that's a good thing. 68 is a very good number in that regard. So one other thing I want to mention before we go on to the next benchmark test, which is SmartBench, and that is that the Samsung Exhibit 4G is a 4G phone on T-Mobile, on T-Mobile's HSPA Plus network. The theoretical limit for the data network speed for the Exhibit 4G is 21 megabits. Now, you're really not going to get 21 megabits, but you might get 15. And that's a very good speed. I've not had a chance to test this in a good 4G environment. You can see that I've got 4G listed here, so it's saying I'm in a 4G environment, but I generally don't get very fast network speeds here at the office at Wirefly. So the next step is I'm going to run SmartBench, and we'll see what the results are when I run SmartBench. I'll pick it up at the end just as I did with Quadrant. This is the last of the graphics tests in the SmartBench benchmark suite, and it's going to ask me if I want the results. And it always takes a little while to download the results. But as I observed it running SmartBench, again, all the visual aspects of the test ran very, very smoothly, very quickly. So that tells me that this will do a great job with graphics. And everything I've done on this with graphics has been very good. Okay, here's the results. This said that the productivity score in SmartBench is 918, and the game score is 2355, 2355. Again, that's very typical of the Samsung Galaxy S series of phones. They get much higher games scores than productivity scores in SmartBench, and that has a lot to do with the graphics processing unit, the GPU, that's in the Galaxy S series and is apparently also in the Samsung Exhibit 4G. Okay, so this is kind of wrapping up the review of the Samsung Exhibit 4G. I've had a few hours now to hold this in my hand, to use it. Very crisp, clear, small screen. It's ideal for people who have small, thin fingers because things that are roomier on a 4-inch or 4.3-inch screen are going to be smaller on this screen here. I like it. It's very lightweight. It sits in a pocket very well, doesn't weight you down. So I like the Samsung Exhibit 4G, and if you're in an area where you get good 4G coverage on T-Mobile, I think you'll get some very fine data speeds as well. So hey, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly with a look at the Samsung Exhibit 4G. Thanks for watching.